Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Miller again. Firstly, I'd like to thank everyone for the beautiful flowers I received in the mail. I was really hoping, I was actually going to go to the store and buy some flowers, and because I received such beautiful flowers, I didn't have to. Thank you so much, they're great. So our book today is called L is for Lobster. It's a book about the alphabet. And we're going to start. You may have noticed that a number of my books have come from the state of Maine, because we have a house in Maine, and I have a lot of books about Maine. And this book, too, is about Maine. So here we go. A stands for Augusta, the capital of our state. In the rooms of the State House, our representatives legislate. B is for beans, B&M and LL. One bakes food you can eat, the other has goods to sell. C stands for chickadee, Maine's special bird. In woods and meadows her song can be heard. She dines on suppers of insects and seeds, which she finds in feeders, gardens, and weeds. D is for down east, another name for Maine. When you know that east means east, but down means up, the mystery of the name becomes plain. Enterprise, which begins with the letter E, was a brig that once sailed upon the sea. The American warship battled the Boxer. Both crews fought bravely, but the Enterprise outfoxed her. F stands for forest, with trees tall and straight. The majestic eastern white pines are the official trees of our state. G is for the graceful gull. It soars and swoops and glides over beaches, bays, and rocky cliffs above Maine's coastal tides. H is for halibut, haddock, herring, and hake. Fish that swim in the ocean, not in a lake. Fishermen drop their nets many miles out to sea to catch fish suppers for your family. Islands begin with the letter I. If you were a bird flying high in the sky, you'd see a spot of land with water all around. In Maine's lakes and bays, many islands can be found. J looks a bit like a jack in the pulpit. This wildflower grows in the woods that are sunlit. Its blooms remind us of a preacher in a church who looks at his flock from a very high perch. Katydin begins with the letter K. The spot where night first turns into day is a mountain in Maine a mile high. Stand here and be the first to see the sunrise in the sky. L is for lobster, a two-clawed crustacean that lives among rocks in the shallow parts of the ocean. Buoys mark traps where lobsters are caught. They are red when you eat them, but green in the pot. M represents Maine and its special animal, the moose, who lives in the marshes and woodlands with birch trees and spruce. Moose antlers and noses are very big. Their legs are long and skinny. They'll never dance a jig. N stands for New England clam chowder, a wonderful soup that all Yankees prefer. Potatoes, onions, and clams simmer in the pot. Then the soup is served hot when the weather is not. O stands for Old Town Canoe. I can canoe, can you? In a narrow, shallow boat over the waters we paddle, going much faster than on a horse with a saddle. P stands for Pentecost and Passamaquoddies, the first people of Maine. They hunted, fished, trapped game, and gave many mountains, rivers, and lakes their names. Q is for Quoddy Lighthouse, a friend that stands beside the sea, warning of dangers so ships sail worry-free. On top of its tower burns a bright light that cuts through the fog and the dark of the night. The word rock begins with the letter R. Maine's rocks have made the state a star. Photographers film them, painters paint them as the rocks churn waves into foam. These rocks are where the puffins, porpoises, seabirds, and seals come to make their home. S swirls and slithers like the curves of a seashell, round, oval, conical, or crescent shape, painted with a palette of pastels. Shells are home to miniature animals who carry them on their backs. If you look closely at the sand, you'll see their tiny tracks. T is for the tide, which comes and goes along the Maine coast side. In and out, the salty waters pour, while the sun and the moon play tug of war. The University of Maine starts with U. Here students called black bears dressed in blue. A university is a place where big kids go to learn about everything they should know. V is for Vacation Land, another name for Maine. This is a place where visitors come by boats, bus, car, or plane. They swim, sail, ski, hike, and climb, and then they go home after having a wonderful time. W is for Windjammer, and W is for whale. Over waves they slide and glide, so sometimes side by side. Windjammers are big ships that travel with sails, while whales are big mammals that flop and flip their tails. X marks the spot where ships met their fate. Wrecks hide treasures that time forgot, perhaps even pirates, pieces of 8. Y is for York, the grand old Duke of York, who had 10,000 men and marched them up a very high hill and marched them down again. He also gave his name to the oldest town in Maine. Z is for zillion, the number of stars in the sky. They seem close enough to touch on a dark night in July. And that is it, my friends, the alphabet from Maine. Don't forget, Sunday is Mother's Day, so make sure you do something special for your moms. Thank them for everything they do for you. Moms are the best. Have a good weekend. Bye.